Black Ram 313 back at it again, because you know this is therapeutic, man. Back again with another therapy session. But before we get into the therapy, I'd first like to mention Mr. Leon Jones of 411 Talk, a fellow YouTuber with a great channel. Go and check him out and tell him that Black Ram sent you. He has a lot of information over there. This is a community of sharing. Check him out, won't you please? Now on to the topic at hand. This is part 4 in the series. The series entitled Red Pill Dating. This is part 4 and final. Short recap. In part 1, the title of the video is Online Dating or Critique, where I talk about the perils of online dating. Part 2, my video entitled Playing the Dating Game Efficiently. Moving along to part 3, my video entitled Relationships and Dating Minimalism 101. And again, this serves as part 4 and final. Title of this video is Simping versus Tricking. In this video, I will attempt to compare and contrast simps and tricks. To compare and contrast the strumpet for hire versus the modern female. This will be an examination of the parallels that exist between the two. The groups are again simps, tricks, strumpet for hire, and the modern liberated femme. The song for this video will be linked in the comments section. It's a popular song in the 90s by the Ghetto Boys, rap song. Check it out. So this video is partly inspired by such said song. Now this video is for discussion, so I'm looking forward to your opinions in the comments section, and also if there are any content creators who wish to do so. It would be lovely to hear a response video. So your feedback is requested, at least in the comments section, on the question of modern dating relationships. The question being, is modern dating and relationships and marriage equivalent to tricking and simping? Is it a simp move to date in the modern era? Simps and tricks are very closely related. Or any man who believes in traditional dating, what is your opinion on this? My main premise here is that the average lady out there is no different from a strumpet. And if you don't know what a strumpet is, look up the definition. I'm trying to be PC here. But she is no different than the average strumpet. She does the same thing, just to a different degree. The strumpet versus the average. Their minds are one and the same. Chasing, no matter what form it takes. Courtship, no matter what form it takes. Pursuing and seeking after women, regardless of what form it takes, looks an awful like simping and tricking to me. Unless said female completely matches your efforts, unless she completely matches or exceeds your efforts, you may indeed be simping. Unless she is really in pursuit of you, that only needs one fact remain, that you must be pursuing her. If she's not pursuing you, you must be pursuing her in pursuit of the average. American female has to be objectively looked at as simping. Does she pay for dates? I don't care if you're married or single. Does she pay for dates? Does she take you out for a night on the town? Without you asking, does she pick you up? Or in your heart, do you feel that that is not masculine to have a woman pay for you? Because if you're doing all of the paying, if you're doing all of the pursuing, all of the calling, all of the texting, you're chasing, you simping. And if you simping, you tricking. You're using your money to gain access to the vag. You're using your time and attention to gain access to the vag. Is she expected to do anything? Is she expected to be thoughtful? Does she buy gifts for you at the same rate that you buy gifts? 99.9% of women feel that it is your privilege to be with her and that you must work to gain and maintain her attention, which includes gifts and such. Imagine, walk with me for a moment. Imagine children in a room with adults. Let's say it's a party. And the children are looking to gain attention from the parents. So they start to act out, not only yelling and screaming, but look, mommy, look, daddy, look what I can do. Doing the cartwheels and the backflips to gain attention, acting silly to gain attention. In my opinion, that's what the average man looks like when he pursues the average woman in America or in the Western world. Look, Keisha, look what I can do. I can pay for this date. I can buy you a ring. I can buy you a watch. Look, Caitlin, I can buy you some shoes. I can take you out for a grand night on the town. I can take you to a concert. You can have whatever you like at the mall. I can send you on a shopping spree. Look what I can do. And then the next kid or the next male right beside you saying, look, Keisha, look, Caitlin, look what I can do. I can do better than him. Anything he can do, I can do better. Anything better than you, I can do. That's what the average male appears to be. A clown for attention, a child begging and seeking the attention of the female. It is truly a girl's world, right? But you're a big old clown, a big old simp, a big old trick, working and a sweating and a pushing and a tugging and a begging for female attention and validation, also called dating and relationships. Look at all of your efforts for a used vag. Doing your best, putting on a show in your best clothes and your best outfit to chase, to simp out. Stand on your head, won't you? Jump around on one foot. Look what I can do. Look at how much money I got. Look how I can protect and provide. Oh, what big muscles do I have? Look at me at the gym. Let me get these muscles so I can get these women or get a woman. Let me get this money so I can get a woman. So I can get some attention, some validation. Look at what I can do. You're such a child, aren't you? Now let's compare the strumpet, which is a street walker, if you know what I mean, to the average sexually liberated woman. A strumpet can have intercourse with a stranger in his home. She can go back to the hotel with a perfect stranger, the strumpet, the streetwalker. She can also jump in the car of the John and conduct business there. She can do this with a perfect stranger. First time laying eyes. She can open up herself, her body to a strange man. Effortlessly, with no conscience. No thought of safety or otherwise. She is most comfortable in this. She is a professional. Again, most comfortable, as professionals are. So tell me, what is your average liberated, sexually free woman? Does she not go to the nightclub? Does she not go to the bar or lounge? Does she not go out drinking with the girls and end up in a stranger's bed? Does she not go to Vegas to do things that she would most likely not do as quickly now in her hometown? What happens there stays there, right? The one night stand that mostly all of them dream about. Intimacy with a complete stranger, which all of them dream about. Fantasy. And a woman's fantasy most certainly has and can, with ease, come true. How is she not like the average streetwalker? Isn't it essentially the same? The average free and liberated female of today. What is the difference? Isn't it the same thing? The strumpet walking down the street. I say the strumpet walking down the street with a short dress on and high heels. Can you tell the difference between the street walking strumpet versus the average modern and liberated free female? Is there a difference in the way they dress? The only way you know that this one is for hire, immediate hire, versus one that you take out on a date is their location, because they dress the same. They both wear the wig with the blonde hair. They both wear the short dress and the high heels. Is there a difference? I say no. Heels on, back out, cleavage showing, all for the advertisement, the advertising of the sexual. Her and the streetwalker dressed the same as an ad. They even both smell the same. When you've been with multiple men, there is a stench. And men who've experienced women know of this stench. And we like to secretly call it. Shh. This is a secret, gentlemen. And many of you know what I'm talking about. But we call it the whole stench or the whole smell. It's a certain smell that goes along with very promiscuous women. So her and the streetwalking strumpet smell the same. Now that's the secret now that some men know that women don't know that we know. Stop sharing these videos with females. It's a secret. But there is a smell that permeates because of the multiplicity of partners. The beat up roast beef sandwich between the thighs. I say again, the beat up roast beef sandwich between the thighs. Yeah. Stank too. Smelling like piss and fish. Cat stank. Bacterial vaginosis, anyone? It also comes with a complementary side of yeast. We call it creme à la yeasty. And yeah, it is French. But do not kiss. And it does burn. That is the modern, sexually free female. Now they both have addictions. Her and the street walking strumpet. The strumpet may have a harder one. And the average one may have an herbal preference, if you know what I mean. A lady of the night. A lady of the night has given pleasure, oral pleasure, the front seat, the back seat, the alley, to perfect strangers. But so has your wife and your girlfriend, or the woman you're dating. She's done it any and everywhere. Meaningless sex. Your wife, your girlfriend, has been a cuddy buddy, a friends with benefit to multiple men, just a hookup. That's it. She's done it. They all have done it. And for that particular man, a great deal. But you, my friend, you want to marry it. You want to date it. You want to wife it up. You want to spend money on it. But she's been friends with benefits and nothing more. Multiple times. But you have to spend time with that. You have to impress it. It's a bad deal, isn't it? There are levels to simping. But isn't a simp one who sits across the dinner table with a used woman? Isn't a simp and a trick one who sits across the dinner table with a single mother? Isn't it a simp who wine and dines the single mother? Isn't it the simp and the trick who dates the female who has been with 10 plus guys? Isn't that a simp thing to do? To invest time, effort, and energy to something so used with little to no value whatsoever. I can see if you were being with a virgin woman. If you sat across the dinner table with a virgin, maybe that might be a difference. I believe it was Ringo TV Raw who mentioned that only a virgin can be a wife. And that makes a lot of sense to me. Now, there's still no guarantee with a virgin. She still may cheat and leave you, because the woman always believes that the grass is green on the other side, that they are missing out on something. However, you cannot truly have a girlfriend, you cannot truly have a wife if she's not a virgin. And she also needs to be a virgin of mind as well as body, because she's heavily influenced by the society and will rebel against you. Now, the woman who has laid with multiple men, who's taken on multiple spirits, her heart and soul is a tempest, a hurricane of emotions, instability of mind with no repentance. This cannot possibly be a wife in any sense. Only a non-virgin can be a wife in a real sense. And I'm not talking about legalities here. I'm not speaking in Western terms of a courthouse third-party agreement. Now, both the strumpet and the modern female They've had various sizes, and either one of them can be satisfied with any one man. Both view the sexual as a business transaction and in business terms. What have you done for me? What can you do for me? What can you buy me? Is there really a difference? The average woman asks you, what kind of car do you drive? What kind of job do you have? The only difference between her and the strumpet, the streetwalking strumpet, is that one is looking for short term, and the other one is looking for long term. One is instant pay, another one is payment over time. One is pay to stay and take all of your money away, called marriage, divorce, and alimony and child support. The other just wants a few dollars in head for the heels. But the results are still the same. They will leave, and you will pay. What is the difference now between the two, the strumpet for hire versus the average? Is there a noticeable difference? When you date, you put yourself in a subservient position. You are proving yourself to her. You're giving her all of the power. Power to choose. I believe it was Ramil Amir who said this, and also the book of Alpharonomy. Shout out to those two gentlemen. They have expressed this as well. But when you put yourself in a subservient position, such as dating, isn't that tricking? Isn't that simping? Isn't that Johnny over there on a date? You pay for dates. Dates with a modern loose woman. How is that better than paying outright? Or is it better? Is one more efficient than the other? Outright payment or payment over time? Dating versus tricking. Is there a difference? Or is one more efficient? So I want to move the conversation along there. Again, question. Is modern dating simping and tricking? These are questions. And if so, is outright tricking better than simping? Which one is more efficient is the next question. Which one is more efficient? So as we just discussed, there is no difference in the quality of the vag between the streetwalker and the average. One has had 10, 20, 30 or more partners. The other may have 40, 50, 60. Is there really a difference between 30 and 60? Is there really any difference after the 10th or the 11th or the 12th? Is there really a difference? Both of them are severely used. What are you getting? So there is no difference in the quality of the vag whatsoever between the strumpet streetwalker for hire versus the average liberated one. We can look at them as being pretty much the same. But one, you may end up paying child support. One, you pay for dates. One, you will call the mother of your children and your wife. One, you will call girlfriend. Now let me ask you a question. If you knew a woman who was a strumpet for hire for years, in the street, getting paid, would you then take it upon yourself to marry her and make her the mother of your children? Wouldn't that be outrageous? And if that is outrageous, how is she different now than the average liberated one? How? So she marries you or gets pregnant so that you can be a consistent and constant provider. She gets preggo on purpose to secure you as that constant provider. Isn't that clear? Isn't that clear? How is one different from the other? How is the simp who sits at a dinner table with the average loose woman, how is that simp different or better than the trick sitting next to the strumpet for hire? Isn't essentially the same, except one is more efficient than the other. What do you think? One you pay to leave. One you pay to stay. Realize that any dealings with the modern woman is at a loss, period. Unless she can do everything you want her to do. Unless she's spending on you. Sacrificing for you. And I'm not talking about big girls paying either. Paying what they weigh. I'm not talking about those. That doesn't count. Big girls don't count. The only way not to lose at the dating game is for a virgin to court you. A virgin of mind and body. How rare is that? And when I say virgin of mind, I mean a woman that is not a group thinker. Check out my video, Thinking Within the Group. If you were to do a time, cost, and benefit analysis, which is wise concerning this, which is more important to you? Cash or time? But time is money, isn't it? However, you waste more time and money if you are not outright paying cash for the, you know what I mean. Which one is more efficient? Isn't dating and marriage simping and tricking? Isn't the average woman looking for financial security? Isn't that atop of every woman's list? Isn't she swapping her body in a marriage for your provision and protection? That is what society says is your job, right? But you're buying used instead of brand new. Wouldn't it be much better to rent or lease than to buy a used car? Wouldn't you rather rent a used car than buy a used car and you're stuck with its problems? People used to always tell me, when you buy a used car, you're buying another man's problems. How true is that analogy for the modern sexually free female? Would you rather rent for a night? Is this more efficient than wifing up the average? Let's look briefly at the modern Western dating process. You must first approach her. And when you approach her, you must be top-notched. Your shoes on point, clothes on point, haircut on point, your car, your living space must all be on point. Then you must call her. Then you must be willing to make her laugh. You must be entertaining. How much of an energy expenditure is that? Then the date or the dates must follow. The restaurants, the plays, the concerts, the relationship then. And then once you're in a relationship with her, that must continue and improve. And if marriage is wanted, you're in a perpetual, continual state of chasing and paying. Yes, married men must chase their wives because the wife will get bored and leave you. The living girlfriend will get bored and leave you. And even if you are successful at chasing and keeping the romance up, she still may want something new and different. Which one is more efficient now? Cash outright, renting, or the appearance of ownership, which obligates you financially to her, possibly for a lifetime, alimony, child support. Now, I know many men that is against their principle to pay outright. And do what you do. If that's your principle, I respect the game. And I'm not talking about outright vice here. I'm not trying to persuade any man to rent, any man to pay outright. I'm simply asking the question, which one is more efficient? Because there is no difference between the streetwalker and the average. Which one is more efficient? Now, of course, people like to down Johns and down simps and down tricks, particularly tricks. But is the trick smarter than the simp? Isn't he a step above? I'm not saying you should be either one of those. I'm not saying you should be a simp or a trick, but one happens to be, again, more efficient than the other. You work in a 9-to-5 job to continually give the same woman your money. Consistently and constantly. What a waste of time, energy, money. A waste of mind. A waste of space. Modern dating. Dealing with the average Western female. You rent it and you return it. Once you rent, or once you are renting, when you're done, you're done. No dinners, no nagging, no gifts, no heartbreak, no drama, no watching her age, no watching her gain weight, just a simple transaction. Never to be seen again. Isn't that all they're worth anyway? You be the judge. Now let me give you a quick scenario. Let me paint a picture. Picture perfect. I can paint a perfect picture. A little Tupac for you. Imagine this. A 35-year-old succubi with 2 kids and 2 baby daddies, which is typical now. Having had, by conservative estimates, 28 plus sexual partners in her lifetime. 5'4", 178 pounds, which is typical. She has entitlement issues, an entitlement mentality, and she's looking to redeem her virtue that she lost 20 years ago when she was a virgin. She's looking to redeem those virtues at your expense. What do I mean by redeem? After all of her experiences of 28 plus partners, she's older and has more weight. She believes she's better. She believes she's wiser. She believes she deserves more. She deserves better. And you are the one who are to pay for all of the dating mistakes she made with all the thugs and lowlifes that she slept with and all of the men she bore children with. You are the one who's going to come and right those wrongs, pay for those mistakes, make her happy, serve her. She's ready now. It was cute dating a thug back in the day, but she's older and wiser. Now she wants stability. In other words, she's used, she's old. Now she's willing to be waiting and wanting to be wifed up. To get a full-time provider because she's done having her fun. And you get the privilege, Bubba, of doing that. So now she's looking for marriage. She's also a Christian. She loves Steve Harvey and she loves T.D. Jakes. She imposes the 90-day rule on you, courtesy of Mr. Steve Harvey. She demands that you take her to dinner. She demands that you take her to concerts. But on the contrary, you know of a younger woman. Let's say she's 22 years old. No kids, a tight body. She's 5'4", but maybe 135 pounds. Takes relatively good care of herself. But she's the type that leaves the guy at the end of the night, and she only wants about $100. Which one is the better deal? 22-year-old succubi that you rent, or the 35-year-old succubi who wants to get married to fulfill her Christian dreams. Born again virginity after 28 plus. And her 178 pounds is her best, because as soon as you get married, she's going to be too tired to go to the gym. Isn't that a great deal? And this same 35-year-old, she wants to go to expensive restaurants. You need to impress her, show her your interest. Because it is, after all, your privilege and to your benefit to sit across this 35-year-old, isn't it? To show her a good time. You need to impress to show your interest. Take her out to a nice restaurant. The main course, at a decent restaurant. I'm not going to even say top shelf or top scale. At a decent restaurant, a halfway decent restaurant, a meal may be about $19. Just about. A couple of soft drinks, maybe $4 a piece. You do get refills. Cook County, Illinois, Chicago has the sugar tax rate. Maybe paying a little bit more than $4. And by the way, she may want a couple of glasses of wine as well. That's about $16 for 2 glasses of wine, right? And she may want dessert or an appetizer, maybe or maybe not. But if you add up the 2 glasses of wine, the soft drinks, and a $19 plate, you're spending about $65, $70 easy. Not to mention, you also are going to get a meal and maybe a glass of soda as well, which easily balloons your expense for the night to about $100, $110. Now, also, she wants to go to a movie. You can't end with just dinner. She wants to go to a movie as well. And she wants popcorn, because what is a movie without popcorn, right? So that's easy, another $30 plus gas. So now for the night, you have spent a total of maybe $150. But that's just the first date. If you're lucky, she would want a second date. You're so lucky. You got past the first date with the 35-year-old succubi. Now, feel free to do this again. But you must be more creative now. Maybe spend a little bit more. Can't do the same thing as before. Maybe a concert might be next. Maybe a skating rink. Or something else that's expensive. Oh, and you have to feed her as well. So first time the movie might be okay, but next time it needs to be a concert, skating rink, bowling alley. You have you. That's your privilege. That's what you get to do. You get to serve. You get to impress. Isn't that a great deal? So the first date about $150. The second date, and maybe the third date, remember, she may be implying Steve Harvey's 90-day rule here. Now, which one is more efficient? The 35-year-old succubi, or the young professional for half the price? And you spend far less time and money. No phone time required. Because the 35-year-old, she loves to talk on the phone about nothing. And that's the privilege that you have. You get to listen to her all day about nothing. Good morning text. Evening after work call. Call her before you go to bed. Text her before you go to bed. She has to call you back because the kids are screaming in the background. She got a 2 and 7-year-old. Your stepkids. You're so lucky, aren't you? Now, which one is more logical? Which one is more efficient? Renting the 22-year-old or leasing to own the 35-year-old with 2 kids and 2 baby daddies? Which one is the most logical option here? Can you tell me? Oh, yeah. Neither one of them are a great choice. Granted. And I'm not, again, advocating vice or of any kind, immorality of any kind. This is just a thought experiment. Although I can say that 1,000 times, but I still get accused of it in the comments section. Luckily for me, I care not what you think of me. Anyway. But I want to know which one you think is more efficient. The strumpet for hire, temporary, or the strumpet that you have to wife up? Which one is it? Isn't this your wife? Isn't this your girlfriend? A woman is pretty much defiled after the second man, not to mention the 10th or the 20th or the 50th. The average succubus by the age of 25 has had at least 10 partners by the age of 25. At least that's a minimal of 10. That's a very low estimate. Many of them have 30 plus by age 30. 40 or better. How is there a big difference between her and a streetwalker? How? Your girl has done the same thing that a streetwalker does. Ain't no different. But you want that to have, or be the mother of your offspring? Is your girl going to tell you about the night that she went to the club on a warm summer night, looking good, feeling good? She's drinking and dancing and horny. And each drink and each dance, she got hotter and hotter. Hot in the cat. And then she saw a tall, well-dressed dude and got down that night after the club. Yes, your woman did that. Refer to my video entitled Nasty Women. Ponder about the offspring that comes from a simp dating your average liberated woman, a strumpet. Together they are doomed, aren't they? What kind of child will a simp and a strumpet raise? What type of child would a simp and a modern liberated woman raise? Isn't this why we have so much trouble in the inner city communities? So in closing out this series, modern dating is a sad state of affairs. There is essentially no difference between your average streetwalking strumpet and the modern and the average female. No virtue left, possibly on this planet. No virtue left. No hope, mostly, for the future. And we do understand here at More, we do not promote legal marriage, right? But what are you getting from the modern dating scene and experience? Not much to be mentioned of. In fact, you are losing. The only way to win is not to play the game at all. So I encourage men, if you choose to date, if you choose to be out there, to be careful, date at a distance, don't look for a wife. Because at this time, Essentially, there are no women who can meet that definition, that biblical definition. They can't fulfill that moral obligation. There is no righteousness in her. There is no loyalty in her. You should see a big red stop sign when you look at the average liberated female. Are there some good girls out there? I don't think so. Even the woman with the best intentions. Listen here. Even the woman with the best intentions, even if you can find a woman that is not malicious, even if you can find a woman that is not trying to take you for your money, is not trying to ruin you, is not trying to boss you and control you, even if you are to find a woman like that, what you then have to deal with is a woman who's heavily damaged mentally and physically. Physically through the amount of sexual partners, mentally through the emotions that she's experienced, the whirlwind of emotions she experienced with dealing with so many men. You have to play damage control. You have to try to circumvent all of those things that she's damaged by. And may I add this, her damage, her wounds are self-inflicted. She is to blame for her feelings, her discontent, and her possible disdain for men. She is 100% responsible for the choices that she made. Now, to meet someone, even if she has the best intentions, that's assuming now that she has good intentions, which is a far stretch. Assuming she has good intentions. Assuming that she has a decent heart, now you have to pay damage and repair. You have to build her back up. And that may or may not be possible because some scars are permanent. Specifically, scars of the soul. And although she may have good intentions, she may not be able to do it. I did a video called She Just Can't Do It. I know, an uneventful title, but I have to do that because of YouTube censorship. I wanted to call it something else, a more catchy title. But check that video out. She Just Can't Do It by Black Ram 313. So even if you meet a woman with the best intentions, the most you probably can get is something used and damaged, and you have to repair that. And that takes an awful lot of time. Emotional energy, which is most draining. And you're still taking a risk because it still in itself may not work out, even if she has the best intentions. Again, that is a far cry. That is far-fetched to assume that she may even have the best intentions, because most don't. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm a cynic by nature. I believe the worst first in people. However, not just experience, but the experience of most men will lead you to say the same. And not just experiences, but objectively. When we look out at the minefield that is dating and relationships, this is ever present and most evident. So the dating game is a losing game for a man. Unless you're keeping her at a distance and you're dating efficiently. And even then you're losing because it is a time and energy expenditure. The juice is not worth the squeeze. For a few minutes of pleasure, is all of that worth it? Is it worth your cash? Is it worth your energy? Is it worth your time? I think not. However, this is the addiction, isn't it? This is the reason behind therapy. Because we seek to override our biological drive and need for female companionship. I just personally do not think that it's worth it. Maybe you do. And if you have hope, then good for you. Because in this last day and time, as I mentioned before, I see women becoming more arrogant, more entitled, more selfish, expecting everything but having nothing to give or to offer. The word submission is a bad word. She has essentially nothing to gain, nothing to give, and you have nothing to gain from her. I see modern dating and modern relationships as only a liability for a man, completely and solely. I don't see any benefit for the said male whatsoever. None, zero, zilch. But since we're so loving as men and so giving as men, we like to take on burdens. Burdens called girlfriends and wives, with no real way of improving your life. But a man always improves a woman's life dramatically. I'm talking about red pill men. I'm not talking about blue pill simps or thugs. So when a woman is with you, it is to her benefit, but it's also to your detriment. But this is our struggle. There are some people who want me to talk about other things. Black Ram, why do you talk about women so much? Black Wham, that's not important. Do other things, do other things, do other things, talk about other things. And yes, to a degree, I do agree. But guess what, gentlemen? What we don't see are the casualties of war. We don't see the men who are hurting because of failed relationships. We don't see the men who suffer financial loss, loss of confidence, loss of self-esteem, loss of house, loss of their dear children. We don't see that part. We don't see men taking their own lives because you don't care to do so, because you are a player, or because you don't deal with women. You want to ignore the struggles of other men. However, this is what we're here for. This is a strike at them. This is going against the system of gynocentrism. This is a voice crying out in the wilderness. This is empowerment for men to solve one of our biggest problems: the desire for that which ails us, for the desire to take our energy and our strength and give it away to the undeserving, to the opposite gender. This is my effort in the fight to wake men up for realizations, for understanding, for awareness, so that young men could avoid the traps and the pitfalls that is modern dating and relationships. The only way we can fight is with our voices. Voices to make things clear, for clarity's sake, for knowledge to bring wisdom, and wisdom to bring about better choices. The choices of being single. The choices of not bearing children in this modern era. The choice of being content being alone. This is our struggle. This is our fight. This is the addiction here. This is therapy. This is the medicine. Not me, but the message. A message that resonates among the manosphere itself. So having said that, Black Ram 313, this has been the Red Pill Dating Series, part 4 and final, and I'm out.